is something that as an adult I have a hard time even wrapping my head around. Like, I remember you're like, this is the entire representation of adulthood to me, other than my parents, is this person I go to see for 6 hours every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And can tell me to do anything, and I have to do
Yes.
it.
Yeah, he doesn't, Harold doesn't talk back and forth to her much. I mean, he answers the questions and everything. And there's a lot of what he says in his mind that he doesn't really say out loud, you know, wise things. It just got going, you know. It was a fascinating, creative thing, because as I kept making stuff up, then I would remember things that I thought of before, just because I thought they were odd or interesting, and then as I wrote, these things would float up like they were underwater, and they would float up into my consciousness. I go, oh yeah, I can put that right there. Oh, I'll put that right there. Like the fact that your teeth are the only part of your skeleton you can see while you're alive. You know? That's like, so that floated up, and I'm like, okay, I'll have him think this. One of the main things in the book is the rectangle, the description that is inside of his head. He thinks that the inside of he doesn't think this really, but there's a little, his head is full of thousands of birds, and there's a little tiny, each bird represents a thought, and there's a little rectangle window in the middle of his brain, and when the bird flies through the rectangle, whatever thought that bird represents, that's what he would think of. So the inside of his head is like an indoor sky with thousands of birds. And that I thought of years ago for I just think of stuff for no reason. I don't know how or why I thought of it, but again, when the book started going, I thought, oh yeah, and that floated up, and I thought, oh yeah, I can put that right here. I'll have him. I mean, a lot of it is me. I'm saying I'll have him. I mean, a ton of it is real stuff. I mean, that's not real, but I thought of it before. So I put that in, and then I realized that now I didn't put it in for this reason, but now I can change the subject constantly and blame it on the birds. I mean, there's a reason. You know, because my mind, the stand-up just jumps around, and even my mind jumps around. I'm not a story guy. I mean, I'm not, there's kind of a story maybe, but it was just like, just kept going. So when I thought, put the rectangle in, I could move around, you know, one goes through, it represents lifeboats. So now he's thinking about the Titanic, he's thinking about how there's enough lifeboats on it, and that ricochets to, like, lifeguard chairs. They should be everywhere, not just near the water, because people need to be saved besides just at the water. You know, it just kept ricocheting.
How do you catch those things when you're writing stand-up? Do you write them down in your phone? Do you carry a notebook?
No, you know, since the phone, I write it right into my note section. One of my note sections is for stand-up, and it's just this, that's where it goes. I used to write it on little pieces of paper, and then when I got home, I'd write it into a notebook. I used to remember, if I didn't have paper, I could remember 2 or 3 of them, and then when I got home, I'd write them down. But they're written down immediately, because to me, a good idea is precious. It's like a little piece of gold. You know, a new idea that's different, that's unusual. So to not write it down and have it float away is horrible. I learned that way early doing stand-up. how important the ideas are, because that's the whole thing. It's all ideas.
Especially if each idea that you manage to grab hold of is 15 seconds of your act rather than 5 minutes of your act. You know what I mean? Like, you have to have a new idea for, you gotta have 3 new ideas a minute for what you do on stage. I think there's a lot of comics who just think of, you know, what was the meeting where they designed spoons, and then they just think they got 10 spoon jokes for their 5-minute meeting they designed spoons chunk.
Yeah, it's less than 15 seconds. The joke with the laugh is about 5 or 7 or 8 seconds. That's how it comes out about. I would go on TV, do a TV appearance. 5 minutes was about 20 to 22 jokes. It would land out as that. It's you know, it's interesting because it's the only way I know how to do it. Like people would say, oh, they're so short, you need so many. Yes, that's true, but I never thought of it like, oh, this is horrible. You know, it's like, it's just it. It's like my height. Okay, that's my height. I'm fine with my height.